and we look at the first unit, which is ideally research and methods. But before we get there, I know students are preparing for May-June examination, and therefore it is very crucial and very important for them to know what is expected of them, especially when they'll be answering questions. So teachers and students, I believe you've been in a position to share and discuss about the three key skills that are required, especially when answering questions in sociology, and that is the A01, A02, and then A03. So in this book, it is very clear. The guide is out there and it tells you what is expected of you in each of the three skills that you're required to have when you're answering sociology questions. So the first one is about knowledge and understanding. And here, as an examiner, I'll be looking at are you able to demonstrate knowledge and understanding of sociological concepts that you'll be talking about and theories? And do you have supportive evidence and views in as far as that particular sociological concept is concerned? So we'll be talking about, for instance, interpretivism or positivism, which are the two key terms that I will want us to talk about. Do you understand them in full? Do you understand what these two sociological perspectives mean and stand for? Do they support qualitative data? Do they support quantitative data? What are some of the methods that sociologists use to investigate society? And these methods, what kind of data do they generate at the end of the day? So that is on knowledge and understanding. Key skill number one. Most of the short structured questions, especially those that are earning you 2 marks, will require you to have these particular skills. But I do not mean that those evaluation questions that come at the very end, 10 marks and 12 marks, do not require also an understanding of AO1 skill. No, they also require that together with AO3. So let's jump on to the second skill, which is ideally interpretation and application. Here, I've always been guiding students to be in a position to understand what are some of the materials. What are materials that examiners normally mark with an M? M stands for material. So what are some of the things that they look into when you're writing, for instance, your essay or your explanation? They'll be looking at things such as sociological concepts, sociological views, evidence, research methods that actually support a particular argument. For you to have a DEV, which is a well-developed paragraph rather, you need to have, or you need to show some of sociological theories or evidence or views that ideally support that. So do not miss out to give me an AO2 in an explanation question. For instance, explain the interpretivist approach to sociological study. Please, can I hear something that is related onto that? Okay, on to the last skill, which is AO3. This is ideally analysis and evaluation, commonly coming to the very end of the questions that require you to evaluate a question. And here you earn lots of marks. Why do you earn lots of marks? In evaluation questions, they require you to, discuss the strength and limitation. And remember, when you're discussing the strengths and limitation, you need also to give me facts. You need to give me, or you need to supply your points with evidence, with views, with sociological terminologies that ideally are related and are relevant to the strength or the limitation that we'll be discussing about. Remember the essay question, as I've always guided you, even though you do not earn any mark on the introduction, it's very, very crucial to tell the examiner where you're heading to. It is very crucial, but you'll not be penalized for not writing an introduction. Please note that. The second thing, a conclusion, very important. You've been discussing about the strengths and limitation, points for or against. Please, can you give me your stand? What is your view? If you are, for instance, discussing between interpretivist and positivist approach to sociological study, can you tell me where you are? Do you support this or do you support that? I know there are questions that will arise especially on this particular segment, and I'll be glad to answer. So just ask on the comment section, or as well as you can email me or you can text me and we can have a discussion around this. So those are the three crucial key skills that students at the moment need to have an understanding, because that is what examiners around the world will be looking into, especially in your essays and your answers. So please keep tuned. We're going to dive deep into this, especially in our next sessions. But before I go, I told you that will have, a bit of an interesting thing to do here. So this is ideally looking at the difference that is there between the interpretivist approach to sociological study and the positivist approach to sociological study. I believe all the IGCSE students, you're using this book. Beautiful book, great book, well summarized, and the points are right there. Whatever you need, it's actually highlighted in your textbook. So make this your friend, make this your friend as you revise for May, June examination. And I wish you all the best. If you have any challenges to do with your revision, please do not hesitate to reach me out. We can always book an online session. We can always have hybrid session. We can always also have face-to-face session regarding this, and you could be able to improve. Remember, I have taught this for the last 5 years, so trust me that you're going to get it right. You're going to get that A or an A star that you're looking for. So just quickly, we are looking at the positivism. What is the positivism approach to sociological study? So remember, this is just one of the two main sociological approaches to the study of society, and is ideally studying how people behave and act or react around other people in society, etc. So starting off to the positivist approach, it is ideally a sociological approach that argues society should be studied using methods of natural sciences. It focuses on the facts, it focuses on statistics, the numbers, and the patterns to discover the general laws of behavior, and that these people behave this way because of these facts that I present to you. So it is a scientific approach. So my students, I'm pretty sure you're now thinking about what? You're thinking about what? Tell me. You're thinking about data. What kind of data support this? Because it is facts. Numbers, right? Right. Yes, you're thinking about numbers because it's a scientific approach, The other thing about this positivist approach is that it uses the macro approach to study society. It looks at study on a large scale. It focuses on the structures, on the system, such as education. What is the role does it play? Economy, what does it play? The family, what does it play? So the roles that the agents of socialization play to an individual, ideally, is the approach under which this particular perspective relies on. So functionalism and Marxism are micro, perspectives. So we'll dive deep into this later on. We'll be talking about, for instance, the inequality that is there in the society, and you'll love it, you'll like it, because the discussion there are right, great ones. Now, moving on to the next thing regarding positivism. It's objectivity. So remember, this being a scientific approach, therefore objectivity is very important other than subjectivity. So subjectivity is linked to interpretivism, but I don't want to confuse you at this particular point. No. So we proceed with objectivity. So research should be neutral, it's value free, and unaffected by the researcher's personal opinions. Remember that. The next thing is reliability. Remember, reliability is the ability to replicate the study and get the same results. So I've always been giving you examples in class, remember? And even if you've not been in my classes, now you'll get it here. So reliability. I walk in a class and I find there are 7 students. Then I report to my line manager that I have found 7 students in this particular class. And then my line manager walks in and tries to find if the number is the same. So if he ends up finding the number being the same, that is 7, then we can say that that is reliable. Okay? So if a certain researcher has used a particular method and this method has given them a particular number, then another research does the same research using the same methodology and get the same results in terms of numbers, then we can say that the research is reliable. The next thing is this kind of research that is reliable gives us quantitative data, and this data is numerical, is in numbers. And the advantage of this, you can actually put these data on a graph, on a bar graph, line graph. You can be able to tell me the relationship between x and y. This causes this. If we were to borrow something from economics or business, so when the demand is high, what happens to the prices? When the prices are high, what happens to demands and supply? such kind of a thing. That's what we were talking about, scientific research, you know. The next thing is bias. So when research is influenced by personal opinions, values, or expectation of the researcher, then that reduces objectivity. So we are going to look into that into details in our next session. Let me move on very quickly into the interpretivist approach. I do not want this video to be more than 15 minutes. It's already 10 minutes now. Well, beautiful. So interpretivist or interpretivism approach is a sociological approach now, again, that focuses on understanding the meanings, the motivation, the experiences of individuals through empathy. What do we call empathy in sociology? Can I hear somebody? Vastahen. Yeah, Vastahen, you know. And this actually relies on qualitative research, and qualitative research gives us qualitative data. Qualitative data are more descriptive. When they are more descriptive, that means they are more in-depth. They have details, and that is linked with what? Is it validity or reliability? You know the answer. If you do not know, please write on the comment section. Sorry for that. So the next thing that I wanted you to understand is, what is Vastahen ideally? What does this term come from? Is it an English word? For your understanding, Vastahen is a German term. It is actually used by Max Weber, meaning to understand society by seeing the world through the eyes of the people that are being studied. I can say that again. It is a German word that was used by Max Weber, meaning to understand society between individuals. Sorry for that. Meaning to understand society by seeing the world through the eyes of the people being studied. Interesting. Dive deep into that and you'll have a better understanding of what it means. Now we move on to the next thing, validity. The extent to which research gives a true and in-depth picture of the social life, you know. So that is what is in relation to the interpretivist approach. I'll come later on and I'll share the distinction between the interpretivist and positivist approach, give you a table, and if you want, I can always also share some notes, you know, with you via email or WhatsApp or Google Classroom or Zoom, whichever platform, whichever LMS you are comfortable with, so I can share it with you. So do not hesitate to book me for your May June revision program that is ongoing currently. Please do not rush the last minute. No. It's a number time. We are in January, so you have February, March, April before you start your exams. You have 3 good months to do thorough revision. Remember, this exam needs to get you prepared. Remember this. It's always to be prepared for an opportunity than to have one unprepared. Keep that word. Until next time, my name is Mr. John Bott, your teacher of sociology and psychology. Do not always hesitate to book me for this virtual learning. Thank you.